I stood to my feet, rushing at him with a flurry of blows. This time, I wasn't holding anything back, and I was on guard too, making sure not to get caught with another one of those body blows. At this point, I expected the doctor's defensive abilities to be on point, but it was absolutely insane. I was throwing absolutely everything I had at him, but nothing was hitting. Everything I did simply got parried away by that cane, or evaded altogether with what seemed like an effortless motion. I mean, I've fought experienced fighters before, people who had instincts, training, but this was something else. He was reading me like I've never been read before. It was like he knew every move I was going to make, regardless of how fast I made it. One strike after another parried away by that cane. A never-ending procession of hard cracking sounds as my nightstick slammed into it. Over and over again. Parrying and evading, parrying and evading. And after a little while, he stopped just blocking, one after another throwing in kicks, punches, lashing out with that cane, forcing me to block it or parry it away, or even dodge myself. He began mixing in short-range kicks and even punches. It seemed like he had an answer for every move I made. If I tried to lash out at him with kicks and punches of my own, it seemed like his hand-to-hand combat abilities were just as developed as his ability to use that cane. I couldn't land anything. Fortunately, the even exchange didn't last. He lashed out with a punch. I, of course, evaded it, but what I didn't see was his cane slipping underneath one of my legs. He yanked it back, pulling me off of my feet, and I had no time to think as I hit the ground, seeing him reel back with that cane, striking down. It was too strong to deflect, so I had to roll out of the way, but only just. The head of his cane smashing into the dirt as I rolled out of the way, scrambling to my feet as fast as I could. For a moment, there was a pause in the combat as he adjusted himself, picking his cane back up from being lodged in the ground and beginning to gently twirl it in one of his hands, small amounts of dust floating off of it. "Well, aren't you quick?" he said, smiling over to me as I picked myself up. "But I wouldn't count on catching it all. Don't worry, I'll get you eventually. It's only a matter of time before you slip up. Everyone always does." The trick when it comes to real combat with experienced enemies is focus. It's one of the hardest things to maintain in combat. To not become distracted. To stay intently locked on your target. Observing everything they do. Losing track of nothing. Not even the most minuscule of things escaping your grasp. Evading your vision, your hearing. Most people are far too attached to their sense of eyesight. They completely forget that they have other senses to rely on. That if you focus, you can feel just about everything. Hear it, taste it, smell it. That even if you can't see your opponent, you can actually hear them. Hear their breath. Feel the ever so slight disturbances in the air as their body moves through it. Hear them. Smell the sweat on their clothes. Learning to truly take all of your senses into account is a difficult task. It takes years of experience to truly accomplish. You seem to be struggling with it, actually. Your eyes are sharp. In fact, they're much sharper than most. You probably don't even realize how fast you're moving. Quite frankly, it's not really human. The full measure of your speed exceeds the amount of experience that you possess. You move with the haste of someone with decades of martial arts experience, yet you lack the actual combat experience itself that is normally required to attain it. The ability to truly hone your senses. It's simple to make targeted strikes at the head, body, or limb. This is only the most basic element of combat. But someone who has truly mastered the art of conflict can be far more precise. Learn to target weaknesses that most people can't even see exist. To tell the truth of it, a fight is more like a round of chess. There's truly more strategy to it than most people would ever believe. No, most, like you're doing now, simply flail, attacking wildly with strength or speed, whatever their greatest advantage is, without truly having any plan backing it. It's a foolish thing, Jax. To truly come out on top in any conflict, you must think first. Understand your opponent, understand yourself. Know how to win the fight before the fight starts. Read everything your opponent does and take it into account. Adapt your style. Change it if that's what it takes. A truly masterful opponent will never be defeated in simple, direct confrontation. You need a plan of action. You need to know what you're going to do and know what they're going to do in response. Otherwise, against a seasoned opponent, a rank amateur with natural speed or ability will always lose. So, Jax, do you think you can handle it? Can you step up to the next level? Leave behind the thrashing of old for the true art of combat. Well, Jax, he said, staring me down as he finally stopped twirling that cane, once again sitting it down in front of him, leaning on it ever so gently, that smile still plastered on his face. Whenever you're ready, we can continue. I really don't like admitting it, but he was absolutely right. I had no plan of action. I was just attacking, thinking that if I moved fast enough, hit hard enough, that I could overwhelm him. But I didn't really have any plan. I mean, my ability to fight was always enough to deal with the people that I had to deal with. But this is definitely a new type of fight. One that I'm not accustomed to being in. A fight with somebody with real skill. Not just a natural knack or talent for fighting, but trained to do it. And damn well at that. Fine then, I thought to myself. Though I don't like to admit it, I think he's actually better than me. At least for the moment, I thought to myself, staring him down. But I'm sure I can make that little fact a thing of the past. If raw talent won't cut it, if natural ability is insufficient, then he's right. I'll just have to move up, step to a higher level, and knock him off of that high horse. I spent the next, I don't know how long, maybe an hour? Perhaps a little more, doing everything in my power to knock him off of that pedestal he was sitting on. But no matter how I came at him, he was prepared for everything, every eventuality, every change in tactics, every change in fighting style. It was like he had seen it all 1,000 times, and none of it shook him. I gave it everything I had. Hell, I even tried fighting a little dirty, kicking up dust to try to make cover, lashing out at feet or hands, try to knock the weapon out or stunt his movement. And nothing gave me nothing. No matter how hard I came at him, he had an answer for it all.